The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void, a massive, shimmering structure orbiting a dying star. Inside, representatives from hundreds of species gathered, some towering and crystalline, others pulsing with bioluminescent light, all, eyes fixed on the center platform where Earth's envoy stood alone. Captain Mara Jensen, clad in the sleek utilitarian uniform of the United Earth Space Command, felt the weight of 1,000 alien stares. None of them friendly. "Humans seek alliance," Mara began, her voice steady despite the tension thickening the air like radiation. "We come with open hands and firm resolve. We bring technology, innovation, and a willingness to cooperate." A murmur swept through the crowd. A towering, 8-limbed Zelvan delegate sneered. "Your species is too young, too violent. History records countless wars fought by humans against themselves. How can we trust a species that tore itself apart repeatedly on its own world?" Mara's eyes flickered, but she didn't flinch. "Our wars forged resilience. Our mistakes taught lessons your ancient council seems afraid to learn. We have unified under a common purpose." From the far side of the chamber, the Itral, a serpentine race with silver scales glinting under the chamber lights, hissed in disdain. "Your innovation is reckless. Your technology untested. We have observed humans sending probes carelessly into uncharted space, destabilizing entire ecosystems. Such recklessness threatens us all." Mara's voice sharpened. "If you judged every rising power by its infancy, you would never have reached the stars yourselves." The High Arbiter of the Galactic Council, a regal figure cloaked in shifting shadows, raised his elongated hand to silence the chamber. "Enough. The Council has deliberated. The verdict is unanimous." Mara's heart hammered. She swallowed, bracing for the blow. "Humans are denied alliance membership. Your species is too unpredictable. Your history is stained with bloodshed and chaos. You will remain quarantined in your home system until you demonstrate a commitment to galactic peace." A cold silence followed, broken only by the faint hum of the Council's energy fields. Mara's jaw clenched. "Is that your final decision?" The Arbiter inclined his head. "It is." The human delegation packed up quickly, their composure masking simmering anger. As they prepared to depart, Mara caught a glimpse of the faces around her, some curious, some disdainful, and a few, almost imperceptibly, fearful. Back on Earth, news of the rejection spread like wildfire. Government officials and military leaders convened behind closed doors. Public broadcasts played clips of the Council's dismissal, framing humanity as dangerous outsiders. But beneath the public facade, something darker took root. In the quiet of her quarters, Mara stared out at Earth's pale blue orb suspended in the black. Her reflection stared back, determined, unyielding. "They called us dangerous," she whispered. "Maybe they're right. But they don't know the half of it." Across the galaxy, hidden observers took note. In the dimly lit recesses of the Council's observation decks, the Thalari, a sleek insectoid species with multifaceted eyes, gathered in hushed urgency. "Our spies report human progress is accelerating, beyond projections," whispered Thalar, the leader. "They are excavating ruins on Mars, ancient alien tech, forbidden tech." His deputy clicked his mandibles nervously. "They reverse engineer it without caution. Their adaptability is unlike anything we've seen." Thalar's eyes gleamed with unease. "The Council's rejection may have only spurred them on. We must watch closely. Humans are not just reckless. They are dangerous." Far from the Council's grand halls, humans on Earth moved swiftly. Scientists, engineers, and military strategists worked side by side, united by a common purpose, to prove the galaxy wrong. The Resolution, a project shrouded in secrecy, moved from concept to reality. Faster than any ship in the Council's fleet, armed with experimental weapons and cutting-edge AI, it was humanity's answer to their exile. Mara's final order before returning from the Council was clear. "Prepare. They refused us once. Next time they won't have a choice." In the vast silence of space, the seeds of a new chapter were planted. The galaxy had labeled humans dangerous. But what they hadn't realized was how dangerous their fear had made humanity. Far beyond the polished spires of the Galactic Council, deep in the shadowed edges of known space, the Thalari stealth frigate, Velithra, glided silently through a dense asteroid field. Its sleek black hull absorbed the faint glimmer of distant stars, making it nearly invisible to all but the most advanced scanners. Inside the ship's command chamber, Thalar leaned over a holographic star chart, his multifaceted eyes reflecting. Blinking red dots scattered across the solar system. "We've confirmed their target," he said in a sharp, clicking voice. "The ruins on Mars. Ancient alien artifacts buried beneath the red sands. Humans are scavenging technology long lost to time. A reckless, dangerous gamble." His second-in-command, Drelkis, tapped a datapad nervously. "Our drones captured footage of their excavation. They're not just mining relics, they're activating systems, deciphering alien scripts, even reverse engineering weapon designs." Thalar's mandibles twitched in what could be called a scowl. The Council dismissed their application, labeling them a threat, perhaps wisely. But now we know why. As the Velithra moved closer to Mars, hidden behind a veil of asteroids, the Thalari observers witnessed a scene unlike any recorded in Council archives. A sprawling complex of jagged black towers, half buried in Martian dust, hummed with life. Humans in armored exosuits worked with rapid precision, their machinery cutting through ancient alloy like it was paper. Massive plasma drills bored into the deepest chambers, while holographic interfaces floated in midair, decoding alien languages at a frantic pace. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the site. Humans scrambled, shielding their eyes as a dormant device sparked to life, shooting arcs of blue energy skyward. But instead of panic, the humans responded with calm, disciplined action. One team deployed a containment field. Another launched drones that swarmed the device, neutralizing its deadly charge. Drelkis clicked his mandibles in disbelief. Their adaptability is terrifying. No species we've observed could contain that without catastrophic loss. "Humans, learn fast," Thalar mused grimly. "Faster than we anticipated." Back on Earth, Dr. Amina Patel stood over the excavation site's main console, sweat dripping from her brow. "This isn't just archaeology," she said, eyes bright with excitement. "This technology, it's beyond anything we imagined. We might be the first species to unlock secrets left by the precursors." Captain Mara Jensen watched the data stream silently. "Every discovery means new dangers, but also new power. We can't afford to wait for the Council's approval. We have to protect what's ours by any means necessary." A sudden alert cut through the calm. Unauthorized drones detected in the perimeter. Mara's eyes narrowed. "Foreign surveillance. They're watching us." Back aboard the Velithra, alarms blared. "Humans detected our drones," Drelkis reported, voice tense. "They're deploying interceptors." Outside, sleek human fighters emerged from orbit, cutting through the asteroid field like streaks of silver lightning. The Thalari attempted evasive maneuvers, but the human pilots anticipated every move. One by one, stealth drones were caught in energy nets or shredded by plasma fire. "Withdrawal," Thalar ordered, his voice cold. "We cannot risk exposure." But the damage was done. The humans knew they had been watched, and they were ready. As the Velithra limped away, Thalar called a Council emergency transmission to the Galactic Council's hidden enclaves. "We underestimated the humans. Their reckless innovation and rapid adaptation make them a threat far beyond simple disobedience. If left unchecked, they will disrupt the fragile balance we've maintained for millennia." Back at the Council chambers, the elders listened with growing concern. "The quarantine must remain," the High Arbiter intoned. "But we must also prepare. Silent observation is no longer enough. Humans will be tested, either by the Council's hand or by their own nature." Back on Earth, Mara convened a confidential meeting with top military and scientific advisors. "They're watching us," she said, "and judging us dangerous. They fear what we can become, not just what we are." Dr. Patel nodded. "We're stepping into unknown territory. The technology we're unearthing could change everything if we survive long enough to harness it." Mara's jaw tightened. Then we won't survive by waiting. We'll survive by being dangerous on our own terms. Outside the window, Earth's blue oceans shimmered peacefully, but beneath the surface, a storm was gathering. Humanity had been cast out, and now it was time to prove why. The outer rim of the Thalari star system was a sprawling expanse of asteroids, rogue comets, and forgotten moons, perfect territory for pirates. Their shadowy fleet had thrived here for decades, raiding trade convoys and terrorizing fringe colonies. With impunity, the Galactic Council turned a blind eye. These border worlds were insignificant after all. But when a Thalari outpost was assaulted by a brutal pirate armada, desperation shattered their silence. The outpost's communication arrays sent a fragmented distress signal into the void. A signal meant for anyone who would listen. It reached Earth. In the war room of Earth's orbital command station, Captain Mara Jensen and her officers gathered around the glowing tactical table. "The Thalari outpost is under attack," reported Lieutenant Kim, voice grim. "Pirate fleet outnumbers their defenses 3-1. Communications are breaking down fast." Mara's eyes hardened. "The Council won't lift a finger, so we will. Ready the Resolution fleet, we move in 6 hours." Around the table, some officers exchanged nervous glances. Intervening in a conflict far beyond Earth's borders without Council approval was risky, borderline reckless. But Mara knew the Council's apathy was a death sentence for many. "Prepare for combat," she ordered. "We don't just fight to win. We fight to save lives. And make a statement." Across light years of empty space, the pirate fleet surged toward the battered Thalari outpost. Their ships were ragged and brutal, fast attack vessels rigged for maximum destruction and plunder. Inside the command bridge of the pirate flagship, the captain, a grizzled human-turned-mercenary named Rick Blackthorne, grinned wickedly. "Let's show these bugs what fear looks like." The Resolution and its escort ships slipped through the outer rim's chaotic debris, cloaked in stealth technology that blurred their outlines against the starfield. When the pirates opened fire on the outpost's last defense turrets, the Resolution fleet struck like a thunderbolt. Human warships erupted from hiding, plasma beams lancing through the void, tearing pirate vessels apart with surgical precision. Fighters swarmed like wasps, disabling engines and boarding pirate ships before crews could react. Mara coordinated the assault with calm efficiency, her voice steady in the comm channels. "Target pirate command ships first. Disable, don't destroy. We want survivors." The pirate armada faltered, chaos spreading as their formations broke apart under the relentless human onslaught. Rick cursed over his comms, ordering a desperate retreat, but the humans pursued with unyielding resolve. On the surface of the Thalari outpost, survivors emerged from shelters as the human ships hovered overhead, shields humming protectively. One of the Thalari commanders approached Mara's landing party. His multifaceted eyes shimmered with cautious gratitude. "Your intervention saved us," he said, voice thick with emotion. "Why would your people risk themselves for ours?" "The Council would not." Mara met his gaze unwavering. "Because we don't wait for permission to do what's right. We protect those who ask for help. That's the difference." Meanwhile, aboard a captured pirate ship, Rick Blackthorne seethed in defeat. "Monsters," he spat at his prisoners. "These humans fight like predators with no mercy," a young pirate sneered back. "They're not monsters, they're something worse. They don't just fight to kill, they fight to dominate." The captured pirates whispered of the humans' discipline, their ruthlessness balanced by a strange code of honor. Fear of humans spread quickly through the outer rim's underworld. Back on Earth, news of the rescue was broadcast worldwide. Humans hailed the mission as proof that their species was ready to take its place among the stars, not as pawns of the Council, but as protectors, innovators, and warriors. But beneath the celebrations, Mara received a secret transmission from the Thalari ambassador. "Your intervention is appreciated but dangerous. You have drawn the Council's ire. Watch your step. The galaxy does not forgive easily." Mara's smile was cold. "Let them come." As the Resolution returned home, the crew knew the galaxy had changed. The quiet exile was over. Humans had announced themselves not as victims of the Council's fear, but as a rising power no one could ignore. And somewhere in the dark corners of space, the Thalari scouts prepared to return to the shadows, carrying a new truth. Humanity was not just dangerous, they were unstoppable. The Outer Rim systems had long been forgotten by the Galactic Council, neglected pockets of space where survival depended on grit, resourcefulness, and alliances forged out of necessity rather than politics. News of Earth's swift intervention against the pirates spread like wildfire across these star systems, igniting a fragile hope in worlds long left to fend for themselves. In the vibrant trading hub of Rilo Station, a melting pot of species and cultures, representatives from half a dozen fringe planets gathered around a flickering holotable. At the center was a communication link shimmering with the visage of Captain Mara Jensen. "We've seen how the Council abandons us." One grizzled alien leader growled, a reptilian commander from the desert world Karis. "They do nothing while pirates and slavers ravage our people. But Earth fights for those who call." A delicate silver-haired diplomat from the oceanic world, Syra, nodded. "If humans are willing to help without expecting tribute or control, then we must consider a new path." Mara's eyes burned with quiet intensity. "We don't seek control. We seek alliances built on respect and mutual survival. The galaxy is too large for old powers to dictate who belongs. We protect those who ask, and that is our promise." Meanwhile, within the Galactic Council chambers, the atmosphere grew heavy with unease. The Council's attempt to ignore Earth's rising influence was crumbling. "The humans are creating a network of alliances," hissed a crystalline elder from the Glazari species. "We warned that they were dangerous, but their power grows unchecked." A younger counselor from the water world of Dreelan tapped his webbed fingers nervously. "These rim worlds, once loyal council members, are defecting. If Earth continues this path, our influence will erode." The High Arbiter's voice was cold and deliberate. "We must act. No species outside the Council may engage in alliance building without permission. We will issue a formal decree banning aid to or from Earth." But the Outer Rim species ignored the Council's warnings. Ambassador Threx, envoy of the wind-carved planet Venar, sent a private request to Earth. "Your help has saved lives where the Council would only watch. We seek your protection and cooperation. Our resources and knowledge are yours to share." Mara reviewed the message with her advisors. "This is more than aid. This is the start of a coalition, one the Council fears because it cannot control it." Dr. Amina Patel, Earth's leading xenotech expert, added, "The ancient alien tech we uncovered on Mars is accelerating our progress. With new allies sharing knowledge, our capabilities will multiply exponentially." Mara's jaw tightened. "Good. We'll build what the Council refused. A new alliance, one based on strength, trust, and relentless will." On Rilo Station, a covert meeting took place in the shadowed corridors beneath the bustling market halls. Council assassins, cloaked in invisibility fields, moved silently among the crowds, their mission clear: disrupt Earth's alliances before they become unbreakable. An assassin whispered into a communicator, "The humans are gaining followers. Fast. We must sabotage their next aid mission, preferably with no survivors." But intelligence networks loyal to Earth intercepted the plot. A counter-operation was launched. Mara's special forces slipped through the shadows of Rylos, neutralizing the Council's agents before they could strike. The message was clear. Earth's reach was long and its loyalty fierce. News of the thwarted assassination plot leaked back to the Council. The High Arbiter's face twisted with fury. "They challenge our authority with their compassion and cunning," he spat. "We will crush this rebellion before it spreads." But the Council underestimated a growing truth. Humanity's power did not come from domination but from earning loyalty. On a remote moon in the Venar system, a crowd gathered beneath the twin suns. Alien children waved flags bearing Earth's emblem, a silver phoenix rising from blue flames. An elder spoke, voice cracking with emotion. "They call us traitors, but we know the truth. Humanity fights not for conquest, but for survival. For justice. For us. Back on Earth, Captain Mara Jensen stood before the United Earth Space Command Assembly, her voice steady and resolute. We were told to remain isolated, to be feared and ignored. Instead, we chose to act, to protect the weak, to build alliances where none existed. The Council fears us because we will not be controlled. We are not reckless, we are relentless. And this is only the beginning. Behind her, the holographic map pulsed with dozens of new alliance points, worlds that had chosen humanity over the stagnant Council. Far away, in the shadows of the Galactic Council's stronghold, a secret faction of counselors debated quietly. Perhaps the humans are not the threat we believed, one murmured. Their alliances show strength we lack. But if we admit this, we lose control, another hissed. We must resist, no matter the cost. The stage was set. The galaxy was no longer a place where the Council held unchallenged power. A new order was rising. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was cloaked in shadows, the enormous chamber pulsing with silent tension. The High Arbiter sat on his elevated throne, his eyes glowing faintly as he surveyed the gathered delegates. The air was thick with anticipation and fear. The humans continued to defy the Council, the Arbiter's voice echoed, cold and authoritative. Their influence spreads like wildfire across the outer rim. Their reckless ambition threatens the fragile peace we have maintained for millennia. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Many delegates nodded in agreement. Others exchanged worried glances. We cannot allow this defiance to go unchecked, the Arbiter declared, pounding his gavel against the stone dais. Today, we issue an ultimatum to Earth. Cease all expansionist activities, dissolve your rogue alliances, and submit to Council authority, or face complete isolation and sanctioned military response. The statement sent a shockwave through the chamber. Some species, long loyal to the Council, whispered in anxious fear. Others, quietly sympathetic to Earth's cause, clenched their fists beneath the polished tables. On Earth, the message arrived. Without warning, an encrypted transmission blasted into orbit, then broadcast across every major government and military network. Captain Mara Jensen stared at the holographic message, her jaw tight. The High Arbiter's voice filled the room. This is the Galactic Council. Your defiance has left us no choice. Stand down, or be destroyed. The room was silent for a long moment. Admiral Chen, Earth's fleet commander, broke the silence. They think this is intimidation. It's a declaration of war. Dr. Amina Patel shook her head. Their technology dwarfs ours, at least openly. But we have something they don't. Adaptability and allies who believe in us. Mara met their eyes. Then we show them why humans are called dangerous. We don't back down. We fight smart, not just hard. Far beyond Earth's atmosphere, the Resolution fleet prepared for conflict. Ships gleamed under the light of Earth's sun, engines humming with barely restrained power. Mara walked the deck of the flagship, her steps steady as she addressed her crew. We don't start wars, but we finish them. The Council wants to cage us, control us, silence us. We say no. We fight for our right to exist, to grow, to protect our friends. The crew cheered, their spirits ignited by her resolve. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the Council's war room, the High Arbiter convened a secret session with his most trusted generals. Deploy the Nova Guard, he ordered. No mercy. If Earth refuses our terms, we will strike decisively and publicly, sending a message that no species defies the Council with impunity. General Kale, a towering figure of armored obsidian, nodded. The Nova Guard fleet is ready. We will crush the humans where they stand. The Arbiter's eyes gleamed. And if they survive, then the galaxy will remember why the Council rules supreme. Back on Earth, intelligence reports filtered in. The Nova Guard is mobilizing, Admiral Chen said grimly. They have warships capable of obliterating entire fleets with a single volley. Dr. Patel tapped her console. We must leverage the precursor technology on Mars. Our scientists have made breakthroughs in shielding and propulsion. It may be our only hope. Mara's voice was steady, but fierce. Prepare all systems. We will not be the galaxy's scapegoats. We will be its storm. As the deadline loomed, clandestine negotiations flickered between Earth's emissaries and several sympathetic council members. Some hoped to avoid open war by forging a fragile peace, but the High Arbiter crushed these attempts with ruthless efficiency. No negotiation while the humans rebel. Days later, the Council's ultimatum expired. A fleet of Nova Guard ships appeared in orbit around Earth like dark predators, their weapons arrayed and ready. Mara stood on the bridge of the Resolution, watching the alien warships through the viewport. "They want to intimidate us," she said quietly. "They don't understand humanity." She turned to her first officer. "Battle stations. Let's show them how dangerous we really are." Dark shapes loomed against the vast backdrop of stars. Dozens of colossal Nova Guard warships, their hulls etched with council sigils encircling Earth like a ravenous pack. The enormity of the fleet was a stark contrast to the comparatively modest Earth defense line. On board the flagship Resolution, Captain Mara Jensen stood steady at the bridge's forward viewport. The blue glow of Earth bathed the planet in calm light, but she knew peace was shattered forever. The galaxy's mightiest enforcers had come to crush humanity's defiance. "Enemy fleet is in attack formation," announced Lieutenant Kim. Weapons primed and charging plasma cannons. Mara's gaze hardened. "All hands brace for engagement. This is not just a fight for Earth, it's a fight for our right to exist." The silence shattered as the Nova Guard fired the first salvo. Bright plasma streaks tore through space, targeting Earth's orbital defense platforms. Human interceptors surged into the fray, weaving through the deadly fire with precision. The Resolution and its escorts returned fire, plasma beams lancing through the void, slicing into enemy hulls. Explosions blossomed like deadly flowers among the enemy ranks. Yet the Nova Guard's numbers and firepower were overwhelming. Several Earth stations faltered and exploded, sending shockwaves rippling across communications channels. In the chaos, Mara coordinated her fleet with a fierce clarity. "Focus. Fire on the lead battlecruiser. Disrupt their command link." Tactical officers scrambled to obey, launching salvo after salvo of missiles and energy blasts. A direct hit rocked the flagship, shaking the entire ship. Warning alarms blared as Mara gripped the railing. "We're holding," she said through clenched teeth. "But this battle will decide more than the fate of our fleet." Down on Earth, millions watched live feeds of the battle unfold in real time. Streets emptied as citizens gathered in stunned silence, their faces reflecting hope and fear. Dr. Amina Patel monitored telemetry in the research bunker beneath the surface. "Our precursor shielding enhancements are holding longer than expected," she reported. "But the Nova Guard's weapons are evolving too fast. We need to push our technology harder." Mara's voice crackled through the comm. "Amina, we're sending a strike team to the asteroid belt. If we can disable the Council's relay satellites, it'll disrupt their fleet coordination." Meanwhile, a covert strike squad led by Lieutenant Ryland infiltrated the dense asteroid clusters. The squad's stealth fighters darted through narrow passages, evading patrols and automated defenses. Ryland's heart pounded as they neared the relay stations, gleaming towers broadcasting commands and data across the Nova Guard fleet. "Plant the charges," Ryland ordered. "Synchronize detonation on my mark." Seconds stretched into agonizing moments as the squadron laid explosives under tight fire. Then, "Now!" Ryland shouted. Explosions rippled through the relay towers, severing communications. Chaos erupted in the Council fleet as their command grid faltered. Back in orbit, the Resolution crew seized the moment. Without coordination, the Nova Guard warships began firing blindly, some even colliding in the confusion. Mara ordered an aggressive assault. "Break their line. Target engines and weapons." Human ships surged forward, exploiting every weakness. Fighters tore through gaps in the enemy's defenses. The Resolution unleashed concentrated plasma bursts, crippling key vessels. The battle raged for hours, space filled with blazing wreckage and flares of plasma fire. Amid the destruction, Mara's voice remained a beacon of calm. "We fight for Earth. We fight for all who seek freedom. Hold the line." As the Council fleet faltered, a transmission crackled through the comm channels. This is the Galactic Council, the High Arbiter's voice cold and resolute. You have defied us and endangered the galaxy's order. Surrender or face annihilation. Mara's reply was swift, unwavering. We will never surrender. The galaxy belongs to those who fight for it, not those who fear it. The Council warships, battered and disoriented, began to retreat under cover of a violent cosmic storm that surged through the system. Human ships pursued but held back, wary of the Council's wrath, but the message was clear. Earth had survived. The Council's wrath. As the Resolution regrouped, Mara looked out at the stars, vast, dark, and filled with unknown threats. The battle was won, but the war was only beginning. The fires of battle had finally dimmed. The battered Resolution and its remaining fleet limped back to Earth's orbit, greeted by cheers from ground stations and orbital platforms. But beneath the celebration was a current of unease. Victory had come at a high cost, and the shadow of the Galactic Council's wrath still loomed large. Captain Mara Jensen stood on the bridge, staring at the scarred silhouettes of shattered Nova Guard warships drifting in the void. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's resolve and its danger, but she knew the Council's fury was far from quelled. Inside Earth's United Space Command headquarters, leaders gathered for an emergency summit. Holo projections displayed damaged ships, civilian casualties, and the shifting political alliances born from Earth's defiance. Admiral Chen opened the meeting. We won this battle, but the Council will retaliate. We must prepare on every front, military, political, and technological. Dr. Amina Patel, weary but determined, added, The precursor tech on Mars gave us an edge, but it's unstable and incomplete. We need to accelerate research or we risk being outmatched next time. Mara's voice cut through the tension. We don't just defend. We build. We deepen our alliances with the Outer Rim. They're ready to stand with us, but only if we show strength and leadership. News from the Outer Rim was cautiously optimistic. Many fringe worlds inspired by Earth's defiance began openly rejecting the Council's authority. Trade routes shifted, and covert councils formed to explore a new order beyond the Council's. Reach on Rilo Station, Ambassador Threx convened a secret meeting with other Outer Rim leaders. The Council's grip weakens, but they will strike at us through covert means. We must be vigilant and united. Akari's warlord nodded grimly. We owe our survival to Earth. Their power is dangerous, but their vision offers hope. Yet, in the shadows, threats multiplied. Reports came of Council-sponsored assassins targeting key human allies and scientists. The darkness of espionage crept through corridors and starports alike. Mara convened her intelligence chiefs. We need countermeasures. Our enemies won't fight fair. Her chief of security, Lieutenant Rivas, a former intelligence operative, presented a chilling report. We've intercepted Council transmissions, plans to destabilize our coalition through sabotage and misinformation. The room fell silent. Meanwhile, in a secret Council chamber, a faction of dissenting councillors met quietly. We cannot continue with open war, whispered Councillor John, a voice of reason among the harsh conservatives. The humans are growing, too powerful, but an alliance with them could secure peace and stability. A rival councillor sneered. Peace? With barbarians? They threaten everything we built. The debate raged, revealing fractures within the Council itself. The once monolithic power was cracking under humanity's relentless rise. Back on Earth, Mara found herself haunted by the faces of the fallen. Friends lost in the battle, innocents caught in the crossfire. At a memorial ceremony beneath the starlit sky, she addressed the crowd. We have won a battle, but the war for our future continues. We fight not for conquest, but for the right to choose our own destiny. The Council fears us because we refuse to be controlled. Let that fear be their undoing. The crowd erupted in applause, but Mara's gaze remained distant, knowing the road ahead would be long and treacherous. In the weeks that followed, Earth's diplomats worked tirelessly to solidify fragile alliances. Envoys traveled across systems, sharing technology, knowledge, and resources. But not all welcomed humanity's Rise. A shadowy group calling themselves the Council's Hand emerged. Saboteurs, spies, and assassins dedicated to crushing the human-led coalition. Mara's security forces tightened, hunting these threats relentlessly. Each capture revealed deeper layers of conspiracy and a growing war of shadows alongside the open conflict. One evening, in the quiet of her quarters, Mara received a secret transmission. The voice was distorted, but the message was clear. The Council underestimates you, but your greatest danger lies not in their fleet but within your own ranks. Trust no one. The transmission cut off, leaving Mara with a cold certainty. The fight for humanity's future was about to become even more complex and dangerous. The stars beyond Earth's atmosphere burned cold and silent. But the galaxy itself was alive with change. The Galactic Council, once the unchallenged arbiter of cosmic order, now faced a reckoning that shook its very foundations. Captain Mara Jensen stood on the bridge of the Resolution, her eyes fixed on the holographic map displaying the expanding coalition of rim worlds. Each blinking light was a beacon of hope, a defiant stand against oppression. The battle for survival had become a battle for the soul of the galaxy. Despite the Council's desperate attempts to suppress humanity's rise, their grip loosened. Planets that had once cowered under the Council's yoke now stood tall, declaring allegiance to the new alliance. Trade flourished, technology advanced, and a spirit of unity ignited among disparate species. But peace was fragile. In the shadows, the Council's hand had infiltrated deep within the coalition's ranks. Sabotage, assassination attempts, and misinformation campaigns threatened to tear apart the fragile trust humanity had fought so hard to build. Mara's intelligence chief, Lieutenant Rivas, reported urgently, "We've identified several agents embedded in key positions, some among our closest allies. Their goal is to fracture our unity before the Council's fleets return." Mara's jaw clenched. "Then we root them out. No betrayal will undo what we've built." Simultaneously, a faction within the Galactic Council, led by the pragmatic Councillor Jean, quietly pushed for reform. The Council must adapt or be swept aside, Jean argued in a clandestine session. The humans' defiance is a symptom of our failures. We should seek alliance, not annihilation. But opposition was fierce. The High Arbiter and his loyalists doubled down on military action, unwilling to surrender their centuries of power. The decisive moment came when a combined fleet of coalition ships, led by the Resolution, intercepted a massive Novagard armada en route to Earth. The ensuing battle was fierce, but unlike before, Earth's fleet was no longer alone. Allied ships from Syra, Charis, Vanar, and others fought side by side with human pilots. The tide of battle shifted. Mara, coordinating the joint forces, spoke with unwavering resolve. "Today we fight not just for Earth, but for every world yearning to be free. Let this be the day the Council's reign ends." After hours of relentless combat, the Novagard armada was routed. The Council's forces retreated in disarray, their aura of invincibility shattered. In the aftermath, Councillor John stepped forward, proposing a historic treaty. The Galactic Council would be reformed into a new governing body, one inclusive of the coalition worlds, with Earth as a founding member. The High Arbiter, weakened and isolated, was forced to relinquish power. The ancient order crumbled, replaced by a council built on respect, cooperation, and shared strength. On Earth, a grand assembly convened beneath the stars. Representatives from dozens of worlds gathered to witness the dawn of a new era. Captain Mara Jensen addressed the assembly. "We were labeled dangerous, reckless, a threat, but we proved that strength comes not from fear and domination, but from courage and unity. The galaxy is vast and diverse. Our future depends on embracing that diversity, together." Cheers echoed across the chamber as the new Galactic Alliance was born. Yet Mara knew the fight for peace was only beginning. Old prejudices, hidden enemies, and the vast unknowns of space remained challenges ahead. But humanity's place among the stars was no longer questioned, it was earned. The humans had not only survived the Council's wrath, they had sparked the rise of a new order.